over here in the east side of Detroit. The school over here, right?
Oh yeah, come.
Hey, what's the address to it?
Is it 12355 Grand Street?
I say no more. We about to pull up on y'all.
See you when you get.
Shalom, Lord Christ.
Shalom, Lord Christ.
Stop playing with these niggas, man. Yeah.
Fuck these niggas talking about Daniel. I heard they talking down, no sweat, no problem. It's 15 in this clip, that'll solve it. I got soldiers on deck, they a problem. If I ever let them loose, it'll be a dark day. Now you praying on your knees like it's Sunday. But if he ain't one West, I can't stand for him. And if it's about my niggas, we gon' blame for him. How you ever gonna stand and get this movie? Breaking down the block, all the niggas we influence. Be a bitch, nigga, I don't see how you do it. Be a coward, nigga, I don't see how you, let's get after it. Been everywhere, nigga, running out of options. About to head to Europe, sip liquor with the Aki. When we step through, you know it's about to be a problem. When we step through, you know it's about to be an issue. Old Ice Cube, nigga, think he a man with that pistol. If I pick it up, pray to God I miss you. It's a war in real life, not just on instrumentals.
Tell these niggas no compare me. I don't think they hear me. Say that he a threat, what that's supposed to put some fear in me? Said that he the best, tell him prove for some clarity. Said that he up next, tell him prove for some clarity. Tell these niggas no compare me. I don't think they hear me. Say that he a threat, what that's supposed to put some fear in me? Said that he the best, tell him prove it for some clarity. Said that he up next, tell him prove it for some clarity. Whatever you wanna do, let's make this happen. Go head up with any challenger, we right at him. Coroner's gonna say your cause of death was in traffic. Beam knock him right out, his clothes don't get raptured. Knock one of you little boys out, that's kidnapping. Real rose gold chain silver, I mismatched it. Green tips, all black gun, the clip platinum. This that real trip, yeah nigga, that real fashion. This 40 that I got from Arizona, my Desert Eagle. You only thought a parrot could talk till you hear the eagle. 2 red beams on top like the eyes evil. Staring at death, where you standing is where I leave you. Shane one West, tell a bitch that I don't need you. Air 'em, have her breakfast in bed, Airbnb you. Me and my brothers come together, don't be an equal. And still show up on the corner to still teach you. Down there on your head, make me pick the Swiffer up. Pull strings for $1, you gotta be quick enough. I ain't moving my hips when I say I'm blicked up. My auntie became a man, I said I don't give a fuck. Hey, he's a rock, man. Hey, look, we just pulled up on Gratiot Street right now, man. Can you have somebody come open the door?
No sweat, say no more.
I bet, let's get it. We about to chill with the brothers.
I'll be all right now. You crazy for this.
Big soldier, nigga. Just give me a reason. Fuck peace, getting even. Won't beat with feet. Taking over, nigga. Yeah. Let me make it clear. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is. I'm about to start a fire. Whole team full of riders. They be dead on the ride, boy. Ain't gon' be no survivors. Yeah. Big soldier, nigga. Come on. Don't care where it is. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is.
I'm repped out, tell them watch your mouth. For you know we gon' bend your block. I'ma walk in time bomb. I go viral. You niggas like TikTok, yeah. This ain't what you want. Tell them throw in the towel. We make niggas hit the clock and without toe fire, rain brimstone. They gon' think that you live a lie. We ain't got no picks. We want it all. We gon' make you pick a spot. We knocking on the door, so let us in. Or you know we gon' pick the locks. We in the field for real. Every day while y'all just say watch. We making enemies our foot stores. Run no nothing by the op. It take one try when I rock out. I'm like David when I sling shots. I'm putting attachments on everything. You don't want me to connect the dot. This drum got 50 unreleased hits. You don't want to be the next to drop. I put them in a box and make that shit double wood. You don't want to be the next to flop. Yeah. Niggas feeling themselves. Get a shovel, tell them dig the pot. Can't fit you and your man's in it. Just tell them get a bigger box. Cause I'll put you in one and knock you out one. Call up my nigga knock. I'll put your song on, cut it on mute, and then tell you that shit was hot.
Big soldier, nigga. Just give me a reason. Fuck peace, getting even. Won't beat with feet. Taking over, nigga. Yeah. Let me make it clear. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is. I'm about to start a fire. Whole team full of riders. They be dead on the ride, boy. Ain't gon' be no survivors. Yeah. Big soldier, nigga. Come on. Don't care where it is. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is. Big soldier, nigga. I come in the name of the boss. So my niggas that is wartime. Already weigh the coast. That point shoot bitch. Red Dead Redemption. Got them niggas scared to whistle. Is you with us or against us? Can't stop to the zone out. I don't think get the picture. It come from my head, I'm giving them lead. The preacher give him a scripture. Flow cold, style vicious. Niggas sweeter than the missus. Got soldiers posted, I put them on your roof, Merry Christmas. Bring hither and slay him. Got the Glock out the book of Luke. Keep it stick like Dumbledore. Play dumb, I'ma let it loose. Call my gun Harmon. Call my main bitch Betty Boop. He the truth, I'ma need the proof. Got stripes like Beetlejuice. Hit his ass like a Louisville. Hit him low, then I hit him high. Bring him home to the umpire. Give him balls like Wi-Fi. Turn the booth to a bonfire. Little bitch, I'm a live wire. I ride like a car tire. It's on mine when I ride by. Big soldier, nigga. Just give me a reason. Fuck peace, getting even. Won't beef with fear. Taking over, nigga. Let me make it clear. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is. I'm about to start a fire. Whole team full of riders. They be dead on the ride, boy. Ain't gon' be no survivors. Big soldier, nigga. Come on. And don't care where it is. They want the cloud, we want the zone. That's the way it is. I heard they coming for blood, I'ma be coming for more. Give me the floor, they better come with a mop. I'ma be making it pour. Nigga, I'm raw, fly with the hammer like Thor. Found on my ops in the morgue, tell I'm on four. I'ma be bombing these lanes, understand how and war. I've been the lead, time to get back in the street. Time to get back on my feet, had time to read. Check out, we came from the east, wait till my dogs are released. Heard they was sleep, so we gon' wake them up. Put them up in the sky, the Lord gon' take them up. I take on anybody, think he brave enough. I've been the same and I ain't never changing up. I'm in my zone, hit up my cellular phone. Tell me whatever he on, I take that scouter. He on them perks and that powder, homie ain't really that strong. I'm like a dog. Better yet, Benny King, I keep a lion head on my pinky ring. I keep a shield. Boy, you see everything. G43, Symphony, let it sing.
You ain't too, you crazy for us.
All right, Shalom, Israel. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. It's the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class, where we break down the scriptures from a linguistic perspective. I mean, this is something that you're one of many things that your Christian pastor will never be able to do. You know what I mean? Because they don't intend to teach you the truth according to the Bible. And that's also the reason why a lot of these fake Israelite groups, like we talked about last week, a lot of these fake Israelite groups or these individualites or, I mean, whatever the case is, any of these self-proclaimed biblical scholars, they don't understand the scriptures because they don't, a big portion or a big reason why these people don't understand the scriptures is because they don't understand the language. They don't understand how it works, which is why they look at words like Gentile, stranger, you know what I mean, things like that, and they so enamored by it. And you know what I mean, and not understanding, you know what I mean, the context of the scriptures that, you know what I mean, Gentile can mean heathen, or it also can mean your brother, just like stranger, you know what I mean, which is where a lot of doctrines come from. You know what I mean? You don't understand the language, so then you misread something, and now you're creating a whole doctrine, which is, you know what I mean, creating another pathway for death and destruction for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right. So we do this class every Friday. We've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible since 1969. We do this Lashawan Qadash class every Friday. I mean, nationwide here in Killeen, Texas. You know what I mean? You got any Lashawan Qadash related questions? Baba Kashad, put them in the chat. I mean, I'll get to them. As they come in. Any questions that I don't address by the end of class, I'll get in that comment section and address it personally. And once I reply to your comment, you should get a notification in your inbox or you know what I mean, whatever social media you watch it from. All right, so Salaki, again, if you got any questions, or comments or anything, put it in the chat. If you got any questions in the class, go ahead, raise your hand. We're gonna get them answered. We're gonna pick up from where we left off last week in Sabbath service, like we always do. We left off at Genesis chapter 6 and verse 10. So we're gonna be picking up Genesis chapter, or Salaki, 16 and verse. We're gonna be picking up at Genesis chapter 16 and verse 11. So, Salaki, let me double check and make sure that's accurate. So, Salaki. But in the meantime, just make sure you got Bible Hub ready and available so that you can read from Bible Hub, like we always do. Should already have it downloaded on your phone. If you don't, I understand if you a new student, this is the first time you watching or tuning in, but you should already have Bible Hub downloaded. Should already have Bible Hub downloaded on your phone, since that's what we've been using consistently. Make sure you got that open. All of that. Also, before we get started, Salaki, as I share my screen, Salaki. All right, Salaki. But make sure you've been practicing. You know what I mean? Last week we talked about the Lashawan Qadash alphabet, just knowing it from Adata off the top of your head. It's going to be extremely helpful. You know what I mean? Just knowing Adata. You know what I mean? You should be able to say the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. Abagada Hawaza Khata Yaka Lamanasa I Patazakwa Rashanta. You know what I mean? You should be able to do that without looking at your notes. If you do, that's fine. But just take the time. Just take the time out, maybe 2 or 3 minutes out of your day to just say it over and over. Say it from Adata, and then do it again until it becomes a rhythm, or until whatever you got to do to memorize it. That's going to be extremely helpful for you, especially during Sabbath service when we read the Hebrew, and you don't have time to, or you know what I mean, just to avoid embarrassing yourself. So when you ain't got time to stop and try to look at your notes and then try to look at the Hebrew and try to work your way through it. Just to make sure that you're prepared. I would highly advise brothers to just make sure you're able to go through the Lashawan Qadash alphabet from Adata. All right. I'm confident that brothers able to do it at this point. But if not, you know what you need to do. All right. We're going to be picking up from Genesis chapter 16, verse 11. Again, like we talk about every class, we just using the same 4 steps that we constantly go over every single class. You should have these written down in your notes somewhere, just for just for memory. But it's the same 4 steps that we use constantly. And if you can understand and you can master these 4 steps, then you understand the Hebrew. It's that simple. The Lashawan Qadash is a very simple language. All right. But those 4 steps is, and again, no particular order. It's likely. No particular order for these 4 steps, but you can see 1, 2, or any combination of these 4 steps, or you might just see one, you might see all of them. But these 4 steps are all important for you to be able to break down the Hebrew like we're going to do tonight. And as we go through tonight, as I'm reading and breaking it down, you're going to see that I'm only using these 4 steps. All right. But use identify your root word, identify your prepositions, identify your possessors, and your tenses. All right. Them going to be the 4 steps. All right. And like I always say, what you want to do as you read it through the Lashawan Qadash, like I'm going to be doing all night. The easiest way, especially if you first starting out, what you want to do is just click that concordance code, and it's going to do a lot of the work for you. So as you're reading it, a lot of times brothers don't know where to, how to pronounce certain things, how to pronounce prepositions, possessives, root words. A lot of brothers don't know how to pronounce them. You clicking that concordance code is going to help you pronounce those things. And those mispronunciations come from not knowing, what's what, not knowing where the root word is, not knowing what's a possessive and what's just part of the root word. What's a possessive and what's part of the root word. What's a tense and what's part of the root word. Things like that. That leads to mispronunciations. All right. But you click that concordance code, it's going to separate the root word for you, and then you can just plug in everything else. All right. We're going to see a lot of those examples tonight. But just keep that in mind. Especially if you run into anything that you don't understand or you're not sure how to pronounce it, clicking that concordance code is going to help you out a lot. And that's also where your questions are going to come from, because You know what I mean, this is a language that, of course, this is a language that we're trying to learn as a people, as a nation. So you might run into things that you don't quite understand. That's where your question is gonna come in, where you're gonna use the 4 steps. You're gonna try to break it down the best that you can. But if you run into any, you know what I mean, if you run into any walls or anything that got you tripped up, then you can just bring those to Lashawan Qadash class or Salakia. Sabbath service is a little too late, but you can bring those questions to Lashawan Qadash class and get them answered. All right. So with that being said, I would urge brothers to look over the Hebrew during the week, Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, so that by the time Friday class come around, you got questions that you can, you know what I mean, get answered thoroughly. I mean, we might be able to address some light things during Sabbath service, but not it's not really, I mean, that's not really the time for, you know what I mean, the Lashawan Qadash class is Friday. You know what I mean, Saturday is Sabbath service, so that's when we actually, you know what I mean, reading it, and we're holding the service. So we're not necessarily going to be able to stop and do these breakdowns. But Friday is what that's for. So it will behoove brothers to make sure you do your due diligence and then bring your questions for a Friday class. All right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Salakia. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and enlarge the Hebrew. If you watching at home, just go ahead and make sure you make sure you got your Bible hub open so that you can follow along. All right. So Genesis chapter 16 and verse 11 in the Hebrew. Waya Amor Laha Mala'aka Yahweh Salakia Hanaka Hara Waya Ladath Ban Wa Qara'ah Shamwa Yashama Allah Kaya Shama Yahweh al Salakia Ain Yaka. All right, we're gonna break it down real quick. Salakia. Salakia. All right. We're going to take it from the top. All right. Waya Amar. All right. We'll go ahead and highlight that. Waya Amar. All right. Amar is the root word meaning to say. All right. Something that we see often, especially at the beginning of chapters. Waya Amar. All right. Especially if the Most High is giving instructions or prophet is giving instructions or whatever the case is. A lot of times, chapters will begin with Waya Amar. You take Leviticus 23, you see it all the time. Waya Amar, Yahweh al Mashah la Amar. Or it's like, but you see that all the time. Waya Amar. And he said, so it's 2 prepositions attached to a root word. So Wa is and, Yah is he, and then Amar is say. Waya Amar, and he said. All right. Laha. All right. It's one of those things that brothers might get tripped up on just reading it, but this is where understanding, you know what I mean, prepositions and possessives come in. This is where understanding those 4 steps and their functions comes in. You know what I mean? You understand those things and you're not really going to get tripped up over this, but it's something that's real easy. It's just a preposition and a possessive. So la is a preposition meaning to, ha means her, right? So la ha, right? Just off face value, you might see this together. You might want to pronounce it la. That's incorrect. It's just a preposition la and a possessive ha next to each other. To her, and the breakdown is right here, right? In the English, it says to her, right? So la means to, ha means her, all right? Malak, right? Malak, Salaki, Malak, right? That's how you pronounce it, Malak, right? But once you get comfortable with the language, or you just like English, you know what I mean? Once you get comfortable with it, you know what I mean? It'll sound like Malak, right? But the word is mala'ak, right? Which means messenger, right? You click that concordance code and it says it right here, messenger, a messenger, right? So in place of angel, you might see where we know Alahayim is angel, or a lot of times you'll see that in place of angel or God or power. You know what I mean? Alahayim. But sometimes you might see Mala'ak there. It just means messenger. All right. Not to be confused with Malak, which is king. All right. Mala'ak. All right. That's what I was saying before. I know it could be confusing. I know because once you get comfortable with the language, you can kind of run it together and just say Malak. You know what I mean? But the word is Mala'ak. Right. Yahweh, we already know that that's the Most High's name. All right, Yahweh. It's not Yahweh. It's not Yehuda. It's not It's not none of that. It's not whatever they call it. I know they got a whole bunch of mispronunciations for the Most High's name, but his name is Yahweh. Yahweh. All right. Then behold, Hanaka. All right. This could easily be one of the words that we commit to memory, which is how we know that it's not Hanak, because we used to just pronouncing the last two characters together. All right. So we might see this 3-character phrase and just assume that it's a root word, and we'll pronounce it like that. So we'll want to say Hanak, but just knowing these root words will let you know how to pronounce it, like we was talking about before. So it's not Hanak, it's Hanaka. All right. Hana is the root word. You click the concordance code and it'll tell you right here, Hana. And it's one of those words that you'll see often, Hana, behold. And it's also one of the pictographs, right? For the ha character, right? So I believe in the ancient Hebrew, let me double check. The ancient Hebrew it's a hand. That's the pictograph in the ancient Hebrew. And the word associated with the pictograph is Hana, which is to behold, right? So Hana is, for many different reasons, one of those words that you could just commit to memory with the pictograph, and it's just used so often, all right? So now you got, so here is Hana Ka. So Hana is the root word, and then Ka is the possessive at the end, meaning you or your. All right. So behold you. All right. This is where the Most High is telling what's her name? Hagar. The water, sir. He's telling Hagar that she's gonna have a son. All right. So behold, Hana you Ka. All right. So Hana Ka. And like we was talking about last week as well, just keep in mind when you're reading certain words, certain characters drop off. Like when you're building a phrase, certain characters tend to drop off. Like, again, you click this concordance code, the root word is Hana. It's a ha, a na, and a ha, right? But in the phrase, it's just a ha and a na. You know what I mean? Certain characters, when you're building phrases, certain characters drop off to avoid redundancy or confusion. All right. So because the na's there, that ha sound or that ah sound is already, you know what I mean? It's the ha at the end is redundant because the na provides that ah sound. So that ha at the end of hana drops off, and then the ka is added. All right, as a possessive meaning you or your. All right, so just keeping those things in mind. A lot of times, like we'll see those things and get discouraged, or we just won't understand it. But just keeping that in mind, like just like how we do. You know what I mean? When we speak English, we drop off characters that are redundant or unnecessary in our conversation. Like you hear it all the time, like Houston brothers. They, instead of saying, "Do you know what I'm talking about?" they say, "No, I'm talking about." You know what I mean? It's the same thing with the Hebrew. That's how you know that this language belongs to us. I mean, we do the same thing, and it's this is the translation from the, or this is the Hebrew that the Bible was translated from. So this is the how it was written authentically. You know what I mean? So this ain't like we just putting our spin on it, or we just learned English and then now this is just how we're using Hebrew. No, this is already built into the language, right? So that's how you know that this is a Black, Hispanic, and Native American man's language. All right. All right, moving on. Hara. Hara just means to be pregnant, or it means pregnant. Salaki. Click that concordance code, it's going to tell you that. All right, it's just a root word. All right. Waya ladath. All right. Same thing at the beginning. That waya, or actually Salakia. So that waya, when you see waya so often, right? It's just an indicator of a qual stem. You know what I mean? I don't think we've had the opportunity to go into the stems, but the qual stem is the most commonly used stem because it's just indication that something's being stated. It's just a state of, that's what it's called. It's a state of stem. All right, but it's just saying like it's just the phrases being used in its most simplest form. That's the best way that I can break it down. So you'll see waya at the beginning of a lot of phrases, just indicating that stem. All right, and then or Salakia. That's what you see at the beginning of the phrase, Salakia. Here, this wa is a preposition, and then yalad is the root word. Yalad just means to bear or to bring forth or to beget. All right, you click that concordance code, you see that yalad. All right, my mistake. And bear. Right, and then you got a tha at the end to indicate servile, or what you'll see a lot, or what you may understand as feminine tense, but it's just servile tense. And because the sisters serve the brothers, you see a lot of servile tenses behind things that are related to sisters. All right, so that's all that. So this will be wa yaladath. Right. And then ban, we know is son. We use that word too often. Son. All right, ban. And then wa qara'ath. Same deal with what we were just talking about here. It's just wa as a preposition meaning and. Qara'ah means call, right? And then the tha at the end just indicates servile tense because this is an angel talking to a sister. You know what I mean? Or not a sister, Salakia, but a woman. Salakia. So wa kora'at. All right. Shamwa. All right. Sham is name. Wa is it. He, his, or it. Salakia. So Sham, name. Wa is he or his in this context. So his name, Shamwa, his name. All right. And then Yashama Allah. Yashama Allah. All right. I believe this so like, well, we haven't gotten there yet, but I believe Yashama Allah means he has heard, or God hears. All right, the Most High has heard. All right, so Yah meaning he, Shammai meaning hear, and Allah meaning power. All right, Yashama Allah. Yashama Allah. This is a word that kind of tricked brothers up in the prayers as well. Psalms 83, I believe it is, when it's talking about the names. or the names of the nations that are conspiring against the nation of Israel. So it's I believe it's Wa Yashima Ala Yom. You know what I mean? Or I believe it's Yashima Ala Yom. It's kind of hard to say all at once, especially, you know what I mean? Again, we just trying to, you know what I mean? We're trying to learn this language, we're trying to get used to it. But it has to be said together. Like, I would like to, you know what I mean? It would be helpful to break it up, but it doesn't make sense if I do. So for practicality, I have to say it together. Because Yashima Allah is one name. And then Yom just makes it plural. So in the prayers in Psalms 83, when it talks about the Ishmaelites, that's the part where it says Yashima Allah Yom. Yashima Allah is Ishmael. You add a Yah is denoting possession, which means like if you see a Yah behind the name of a nation, it's just implying it for, you know what I mean, for translation purpose. But if you see Yah behind the nation's name, it's just it. And then Yom is plural. So Yashima Allah Yom, the Ishmaelites. Or
so the why
concert.
The why is just the and.
Concert.
And the Ishmaelites and the Philistines.
Concert. Concert.
You said you have to say the why. You don't say why Yashima Aliyum. You say why Yashima Aliyum just together like that?
No, Yashima Allah Yom, I have to say together.
Oh, Yashima Aliyum. So it is, so when you see the why, you do say why Yashima Aliyum.
Come with concert.
Okay.
But let me see.
You don't try to blend the why with the word. You have to separate the why from the actual word, right?
Concert.
It depends on the context.
Concert.
Okay.
Concert. It's like when especially like for teaching purposes, I'll say it real dramatic. Like I'll say, like you said, why Yashima Aliyum. Like I'll say it real dramatic so that we get used to
Good distinction.
Concert. But you know what I mean, once we get comfortable with the language, we'll just be like, why Yashima Aliyum? And we'll just, you know what I mean, just like how we speak English.
Like regular conversation.
Yeah, concert.
That nigga.
Yeah. And then the next one, kaya. Kaya is just the word that means for. That, for, or when. As a matter of fact, let me add that to my list. I kind of touched on this a couple weeks ago. Words like this, like little connector words or conjunctions, I think they call them in English. Little words like this, I started a list, right? I started just writing them down on the list because the goal is to be able to use the Hebrew in conversation, right? And for us to form sentences, like we're going to need root words and we're going to need these conjunctions and we're going to need to be able to use them together. So that's just something that I started doing. So whenever I see them, especially during Friday Lashawan Qadash class as I'm teaching or beforehand, I just started writing them all down. So I'm going to add this to it. It's a lot here. I'm going to add this to it as well. Kaya means for, right? It will behoove brothers to do the same thing. I mean, because again, the goal is for us to be able to have a conversation with one another. I mean, because these, you know, I mean, we not reading Psalms 83 just for the hell of it because it's a good story. I mean, these nations are conspiring against us. These, you know what I mean, these nations do seek to destroy us, and we're speaking their language. So it would behoove us to have our own language, especially like, you know what I mean, because we on a brink of World War III, and it's about to, you know what I mean, it's about to go down. I ain't gonna get too deep into it, but you know what I mean, we want to, like we teach brotherhood law class. We want to understand our law. We want to understand our culture. We want to, you know what I mean, have camaraderie. Now is not the time, you know what I mean, to have any, you know what I mean, beef with your brother or your sister. It's time for us to come together and be one people. You know what I mean? And it's also high time for us to understand this language because, you know what I mean, once it all hit the fan, we want to be able to talk to one another without these other nations who conspire against us to be, you know what I mean, all up in our Kool-Aid. All right. So you want to have this, you want to have a good grip on this language. All right. So kaya just means for. Shammai. All right. And this is where Ishmael Yashima Allah gets his name. All right, the angel's about to break it down. I don't have the English in front of me, but it says, for the Most High has listened to your affliction. All right, in the English. But Shammai means listen. All right, Yahweh is the Most High's name. All, another one of those words you want to write down. Just one of those conjunctions that you want to write down and know how to use or identify, but not to be mistaken for Allah, right? Usually when you see an I and a La next to each other, that's we automatically, because we're used to seeing it, we automatically want to associate it with Allah, which means power, authority. But in this context right here, all, or it's like in this context, it's all, which means two, right? And then Aina ka, all right? Or it's like Aina ka, right? Or let me make sure. Salakia. Let me believe it's Aina, right? Aina is affliction, and then ka is a possessive that means you or yours. So your affliction, Aina ka. All right, verse 12. Wa hawa'a, right? Hawa'a, like we had on the board for a little bit. Hawa'a is just a word that means he. All right. And just I want to note this as well. A lot of your prepositions, like I, let me think. I do Salakia. I believe like or as, to or for, of or from, thou. Words like that, they have prepositions, but there's also root words that say the same thing. Like, for example, to say, or Salakia, to say he or his as a possessive is wa, but you also can say hawa'a, right? It means the same thing. Right, so that might be something that brothers want to just keep a note of as well, so that when you see them, you're not tripped up. All right. So wa hawa'a and he, wa hawa'a, right? And it wouldn't make sense, because to say he as a possessive, it would be wa. So to say and he using a preposition in a possession will be wa. And again, a lot of the things that you see, or a lot of the rules that you see in the Hebrew, is to, again, prevent redundancy or confusion. So, instead of saying wa, right, and creating confusion or difficulty in understanding or conveying your point, it's wa hawa'a, right? And then ya, haya, right? Haya means be. All right. So ya, haya means it is, or Salakia, it be, or it is. Right. So this is also where these fake Israelite groups get their mispronunciation or misunderstanding of the Most High's name. They think that it's Yahaya. You know what I mean? But that's not the Most High's name. It's Yahweh, like we see all the time in the scriptures. There's so many different examples. But Haya just means be. All right. And then Para'ah just means wild. Right. And then Adam is man. Right. Or mankind. You see that in, I believe the first time we was introduced to it was in Genesis. All right. But you see, we've been seeing it a couple times since we started over again in Genesis. Adam just means mankind or man. All right. then Yad Wa. Yad means hand, and then Wa is the possessive to mean his. So his hand, Yad Wa, his hand. All right. Bakal, real simple. Ba is a preposition that means Salakia, in or on, and then call means all. All right. Bakal means to all. All right. So his hand to all. Wa yad. All right. Wa and hand. Wa yad. Next phrase, call. Like we just said, call is all. Or every. Or everything. I mean, depending on the context. Like you see here, whole, all. You look at the different translations, all, every, entire. You know what I mean? You get the point. All right. But what? Right? These are just prepositions and possessive next to each other. So ba meaning to, wa meaning him, to him. Wa'il, and over. Wa'il, like in the sister salute. Yahweh Shamar il atah. Yahweh watch over you. Right? Il means over. Wa'il, and over. Panya, we should be real familiar and comfortable with this word. Panya just means face, or in front of, or in the presence of, or in the face of. Right? Or before, in front of. Right? Panya. Call is all again. Ak, Yawa. Right? Ak is brother. And then Ya is the buffer in between a root word and a possessive. Right? We see it, you'll see it all the time in the scriptures. And it's something that it really helps to understand this. Like to be able to recognize the buffer. Like that's how the ya is used. The ya is a possessive that just denotes possession or ownership, just in general. All the possessive obviously denotes some possession to some degree, but that ya, like you see it in lineages, like Salakia, can't remember off the top of my head, but you'll see it in lineages. And Noah had a son, right? It'll say behind the word, it'll behind the root word, behind son, or behind Noah, or whatever the case is, it'll say Yah. It just denotes ownership, right? And because of that, it's used as a buffer in between the root word and a possessive, possessive, just to make the root word, or slaki, to make the phrase flow. So ak, you could say akwa, but to make the sentence flow a little better, you'll see the buffer in between. So it'll be ak yawa. So that's the purpose of this right here. We went over it a couple times. You're gonna see it often. So whenever you see it, just keep an eye out for it and just know that that's what that is. Just a buffer to help the sentence, or to help the phrase flow. So ak yawa. Ak is brother, and then the wa at the end just means his. So his brother. Ak yawa. And the ya is a buffer. Ak yawa. Right? And then ya shakan. Ya is a preposition meaning he or his, and then shakan means to dwell. All right. And before we move on, real quick, it's a couple words that you might see. Like there's another word, dwell, which is yeshab. Yeshab. Or salakia, yeshab, which means to dwell. All right. we use it all the time during classes or Sabbath service, especially. We'll say yeshabyim, which means to sit. All right. Shab is the word that we use commonly for dwell. But you might see in the scriptures that there's a word, there might be a couple different ways to say one thing. Again, the purpose is to be able to speak this language. So, and to be understood. So for the sake of being understood, you just want to use what's commonly used or what's commonly the word that's most commonly used to say a thing, just so everybody is on the same page and so that we understand one another. But they all mean they all mean the same thing. But Salakia. All right. Verse 13. Watha Kwara'a. All right. Wa meaning and, tha, you, Kwara'a, call. All right. Shum. Salakia. Shum, Salakia. Shum means name. Yahweh, the Most High's name. Hadabar, right? The speak, right? Then all Salakia, all Yahah, right? There go that buffer again, right? So all is a word, a root word that just means two. Yah is the buffer, and then Ha means her, right? All Yahah. All right. And with these possessives as well, especially with like ha and you know what I mean, depending on the context, but with these possessives, you got to be very deliberate in how you pronounce them. Like if you were to say Salakia, oh yeah, that would be incorrect. I know a lot of times when we see that ha at the end, we just kind of want to, you know what I mean, we just kind of want to drop that, or we want to merge. We want to just merge the last two sounds, which is fundamental, which is foundational. You know what I mean? During Sabbath service, you know what I mean? If that's or like as you're learning, you know what I mean? That's fine, just learning it, but just to be understood or to be accurate, you just want to make sure you know what you're saying and why you're saying it. If you were to say all yeah, you would be that would be incorrect to say, you know what I mean? That would be incorrect. But ha is a possessive meaning her. So to let it be a possessive or to let it be understood as a possessive, you would pronounce it, you would pronounce the name of the character. So instead of Allah ya, it'll be al ya ha. All right. And then Atha means you. Allah, see, okay, it's a perfect example right here. So we saw Ah and La next to each other here, and it's all, like we saw in the previous chapter. But you see Ah and La here, and it's Allah, right? The reason why you know how to pronounce one from the other is the context. We know that this Allah, or we know that this right here is talking about power, which is, you know what I mean, translated in English, God, right? But we know that when you see God in the English, it's Allah, depending on the context. But when you see Ah and La next to each other, and it's to mean two, you will pronounce it all, right? So that's how you know the difference between the two and the different pronunciations, just context. You know what I mean? Which is what these Christian pastors and these Christian Israelite groups and these fake Israelites, these individualites fail at, which is why they have so many misunderstandings that lead to them creating their own doctrine. You know what I mean? Not understanding context. Context is everything. All right. And then, all right, next phrase, ra'aya. All right. Which means to see. Kaya means for. right? That might be oh we just went over that. We just went over that. That was Salakia. But that was one of those conjunctions we was talking about earlier, where you wanna, you know what I mean, just make a list or you wanna make a note of it so that you can Salakia. But you want to make a list of it, make a note of it so that when we use in a language, when we're trying to speak it, then we can, you know what I mean, we can kind of fold this into our daily speech. All right. So Amara. So Amar is the root word. Or Salakia. Amar ha. Salakia. Amar is the root word. Ha is the possessive, meaning her or she. So Amar ha. She said, right? Amara would be incorrect. Amara would be saying, it would be to say in a feminine tense, but you know that just doesn't make sense. So again, context. All right. Hagum. Right. Gum is to say also, I believe. Yeah, also. All right. So hagum. And then halum is the next phrase. Salakia. Halom, you click the concordance code. It's not a word that I've seen often, or it's not a word that I've seen often, but it means in this case here. Let's see. And it's always good to see like how many times it's been used. Like you scroll down when you click the concordance code, it'll tell you how many times this word is used and how many times it's used in a particular way. Like it's used 9 times as here in the entire Bible. You know what I mean? In the entire Bible, all those book chapters and verses, New Testament and Old Testament, it's only used 9 times. So what that would tell you is that that's not the word that's commonly used. All right. So I believe to say here is, I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe it would be hana. Like a lot of times when you see in the English, when you read here, the Hebrew would say hana, which means behold. But this, it says halum, right? And it's only used 9 times as here, 2 times as this far, and 1 time as this place. So it's not a word that's used often. It's not a word that you're gonna see. You know what I mean? It's not a word that you're gonna see very often. All right. But it's good to know how to pronounce it, though. It's good to know how to pronounce it and just know how to, you know what I mean? It's good for practice. But these are all things that you want to observe as you read in the language. You know what I mean? Or as you're reading the language. Because again, the goal is to be able to speak it and to be understood. So you don't want to be like, you wouldn't say halom to a brother, you know what I mean, to say here when that's not a word that's commonly used. When the more commonly used word is hana or another word. All right. But Salakia. All right, so next phrase, Ra'ah, Salakia. Ra'athya. Let me see. Salakia. Let me get it in the English real quick. Genesis chapter 16, verse 13. Genesis 16. Salakia. All right, in the English is, and she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou God seest me, for she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? All right. All right, so this word just means ra'ah salaki. This phrase is ra'afiyah. All right, ra'ah is the root word. The tha is the servile tense because this is a woman speaking, and then ya meaning me. Right, because this is what's her name? This is Hagar's mentioning that she's seen, you know, I mean, this is where she saw the angel of the Most High, right? So Ra'af Ya, and then Ahar Ya. All right. Ahar is back, and then Ya is denoting possession, all right? And then Ra'aya, right? Ra'aya is again the same Ra'aya that's here in this or in this phrase. It just means to see. All right. Then verse 14. I'll Khan Para'ah La Salaki La Ba'ar La Lachaya Ra'aya Hana Bayan Qadash Wa Bayan Salaki Barad Salaki. All right, so I'll is upon or over. All right. Khan is thus. Khan, we use Khan as yes. That's usually what the word means. Khan. A lot of times when you see Khan in the scriptures as well, like it's just used to like verify, just to verify something or to show agreement. All right. So Khan, Qara'ah, call, you know what I mean? Qara'ah just means call. La Ba'ar. Ba'ar is the root word that means well, and La means 2 or 4. Right? And then Ba'ar, well again. And then Salakia. Laya, Salakia. Laya Ra'aya. Right, Ra'aya is see. But Salakia. I'm read it in English. Hana means behold. That's what we were just talking about a second ago. Bayan means between. Between, in the midst of. All right.
Word.
Sir. It also
what?
It also means
Understand.
understand,
But
and it also
means between.
Sir. I'm not sure of the correlation. A lot of times these words do have a correlation, like if one word is used for one thing and is used for another thing, 9 times out of 10 there is a correlation. I'm just not sure of what this correlation is to understand it. But let's see.
So does it mean in between or just between?
In between, like let's see, it's space between, an interval. The mist. The mist, right? Yeah, concert.
Like MIST or MIS or MIDST.
MIDST.
In the midst.
The midst.
In between.
Concert.
In the middle.
Concert. Ooh. Huh. I would have to ask that. That's interesting. But what else? What is it? Like the word for wondered if it has something to do with like sun, because ban means sun and then bana, you add a ha at the end of son, and it becomes build, because your sons are gonna build on what. Right, yeah, concert. But like a lot of words, just like that, like they just words come from, you know what I mean? Yeah, concert. So I don't doubt that this is the same case right here. Qadash, we already know what Qadash is. You know what I mean? Qadash is holy. Wa, Bayan, and between, and then Barad, just the name of the city. Or the land, this is like the name of the land. All right. Genesis chapter 16 and verse 15. Wa Thalad. All right. Let's see here. This is just like what we was talking about last week. We was talking about the na. Like when you add a preposition to a root word that starts with na, instead of adding that preposition to the beginning, that na is replaced with the root word. Or slakia, the na is replaced with the preposition. And the ya has the same function. All right, so it's the exact same thing. So like you see right here, the phrase is wa thalad. You click the concordance code, the root word is yalad. All right, so that ya at the beginning of yalad, which means to bear or bring forth, that ya is replaced by the preposition or the character ta, right, indicating what we will understand as feminine tense, thalad, right? In Hagar, that's Hagar in the Hebrew, right? Like it says here, Sarah's maid, La Abaram to Abram, right?
What's her name mean?
Let me see. Hagar means the stranger. So Gar means stranger. Ha is the preposition meaning the. Let's see. Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy how these it's crazy how these things come together. I mean, La Abaram. I keep wanting to say Abraham. La Abaram. You know what I mean, before he got his name changed to Abram. So Hagar gave or bore to Abram a son, which is the next phrase, bun, right? Bun means son. Waya Kwara'a. All right. That's that that's that indication of the qual stem or the stative stem. I mean, this is a lot of times like because the scriptures is just records. You know what I mean? It's records of our people. So it's how can I explain this? But it's just records. So you know what I mean? A lot of times you'll see that qual stem because it's just things being stated, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. You know what I mean? So waya is just an indicator of that qual stem or that stative stem. It's saying that something is being stated. All right. Quawara is to call. So and call like the next phrase Abaram. Shum, name. Bunwa. Bun is son. Wa is his. So his son, like you see in the English below, his son. Ashar. Right? Ashar is a word that means it means that it means that which, like we was talking about earlier, a lot of those prepositions have words that they have root words associated with them. So you have a preposition, the sha or salakia. Yeah, the sha means which, right? Ashar can be used as salakia. Ashar can be used as which or that, or you know what I mean. You know what I mean, words like that. You'll see it a lot as that. You know what I mean. Salakia. Then Yelada, right? Yelada is Yalad with a servile tense behind it. Yalad means to bear or bring forth or to beget. Then a ha at the end is just the servile tense, so Yelada. And then Hagar, which is Hagar, Yashma Allah, which is Ishmael in the Hebrew. All right, verse 16. Wa Abaram and Abram. Bun. Let's see what this is talking about. Salakia. We read it all the way through. Abaram, Bun, Shamanayam, Salakia, Shana, Washasha, Shanyam, Baladath, Hagar, Ath, Yashma'ala, Abaram. All right. So Wa, Abaram, and Abram, Ban, son, Shema, Salakia, Shamana, Yum. All right. For 8, you might see, or Salakia, for 8, you might see Shamawana or Shamana. All right. For the most part, you'll see Shamana for 8. And then, but you'll see both. You know what I mean? But so Shamana is 8, and Shamana Yum is 80. Right? Shana, years, Wa, Shasha, and 6. So Abram was 86 when he had Ishmael with Hagar. All right. So Shamanayam, Shana, Wa Shasha, Shanayam. All right. Which means years. Shana is year. Shanayam is years. All right. All right. And also, too, it's helpful to click this concordance code and understand what the root word is as well, so that you can know how to pronounce the phrase. Because you look at it for face value, you'll want to pronounce it shun yum, right? Shun yum is something different. You say shun yum, and you're saying teeth. Shun is teeth. Yum is the plural. All right. But we're not saying teeth. We're saying years, which is shana, right? Shana, right? And again, when you start adding things like, for example, here we got the pluralization tense. So when you start to add things, especially at the end, that ha at the end of the root word drops off, but that sound is still implied. And it's important to make that distinction, because if you don't, then you're going to be saying something totally different. Like instead of saying years, shana yum, you'll be saying teeth, shun yum. We're not talking about teeth. All right. All right. Baladat. All right. Same thing. Root word is yalad, and that ya is replaced by the preposition, which means to. So to bear. Right. And with a servile tense at the end, because who's bearing? Hagar. Right. Hagar bore Ishmael. So it's that servile tense at the end of Yalad, right? Or in this case, Balad, Baladak Salakia. Right? Af Yashma'ala. Remember that Af, we see it all the time. We should be pretty comfortable with it by at this point. But that Af at the end just denotes proximity. Denotes proximity. All right. You click the concordance code here, and it's not gonna Salakia. You click that concordance code, and it's not gonna have a definition. It's gonna say untranslatable mark. All right. But I believe if it has a preposition attached to it, like if it is a wa'ath, like I believe if you look at Noah's lineage, when it's talking about Ham, Shem, and Japheth, it says Noah had 4 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. When it says and Japheth, it says Noah, and then it says Ham, Chum, Ath, Shum, Wa'ath, Yapath. Right? And when you see that Wa'ath, I think if you click that concordance code, it'll actually tell you, it'll give you a little bit more. It'll say Salakia. It'll give you a little bit more, and it'll say denoting proximity. That's what you're gonna see. For the most part, when you click it, it's not gonna give you a definition, but in rare cases, if it's attached to something else, or like a preposition or a tense or whatever the case is, for whatever reason, it might give you a little more. But if you ever run into that, it's gonna just say denoting proximity. All right, and that's gonna help you be able to lock you. Just trying to see if I can find it real quick or figure out where, because I don't want to just be, talking out of the side of my neck. But that's exactly what it'll say. Off just is denoting proximity, or it just connects one thing. It just connects one thing to another. Right? In this case, it's connecting Ishmael Yashma'ala to Hagar. Right? So Hagar Af Yashma'ala La Abaram to Abram. All right. Genesis chapter 17, verse 1. Gonna be the last one before we end it. Wa Yahaya. Right? This is the same Yahaya, right? Right. Haya is the root word meaning to be. So Waya is the indicator of the qual stem. Waya Haya. Right? Waya Haya. Right? Waya Haya Abaram Bun Thashayim 90. Thashai is the root word meaning 9. You add a yum to the end of a number. It turns it from how can I say this? You add yum to the end of 9 and it becomes 90. Right? Same with 30. You know what I mean? You add a yum at the end of 3, which is shalash yum 30. Arabai 4, Arabai yum 40. Chamash 5, Chamash yum is 50, so on and so forth. All right. Shana is years. Wa Thashai. Shana yum, Salakia. So Abram is so when Abram was 99, the Most High, the Most High appeared to Abram, right? So Thashayim, Shana, Wa Thashai, Shanayim, Waya Korah, Salakia, Waya Ra'ah, Salakia. All right, let's see, Salakia. Click on that concordance code. Ra'ah means to see or to appear, right? In this case, Waya Ra'ah, and he appeared. Who appeared? The Most High, Yahweh. right? Al meaning two, Abaram, Abram, Waya Amar, and he said, Waya Amar. Amar being a root word, and then it's just two prepositions attached to it, Wa and Ya. And he said, Al Yawa. Al meaning two, Wa at the end means him, and that Ya in between the root word and the possessive is just a buffer. So Al Yawa. Right, you'll see that often. So when you see Yaka, Yanawa, like you see it in the Lord's Prayer as well. We get to that part where it's Wasalak, Wasalak Yanawa, Kawawath Noah, Kasalak Noah, Kawawath Yanawa. Right, in that prayer, some of those words has a buffer in between, some don't. Right, but that's just a perfect example to look at, like how it could be used either or. You know what I mean? It's not necessary all the time to have the buffer in between. Sometimes it's there just to help the phrase flow a little better. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not there, possibly because it's not necessary. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, sometimes it's used, sometimes it's not used. But when you see it there, that's all it is right there. You know what I mean? It's just a buffer. So all your work, all right, to him, Salakia. Anya, right? Anya, just like we was talking about earlier. Anya is the root word that means I. You know what I mean? So you can also use a preposition "a" to say I in front of a root word. In this case, there's no root word, or the root word I guess will be Allah, which would be power, but then you will be Allah, and then it doesn't. I could only assume that it doesn't flow. You know what I mean, very well. But a lot of times, again, to prevent redundancy or confusion, instead of using the preposition, they'll use the root word. So in this case, anya means I, but you can also use the preposition to mean I, right? And also that's one of those lesser used prepositions as well. That it's used sometimes, but there's a couple of them on that list that aren't really used very often. Like the da as well. Like you'll see da sometimes to say do or make, but for the most part, to say do or make, it's I believe Aisha, not Asha to say woman, but Aisha, do or make. All right. But that's what's going to be used for the most part. But sometimes you'll see that preposition as well. But Salaki. So Anya, I, all, or Salaki, Allah, power. Then Shadia, Salaki. Let's see. Shadia. I would have to ask about this one because the English says Almighty. I would have to see what the correlation is.
Shaddai, ain't that like El Shaddai? Ain't that like supposed to be like the Almighty or something like that?
El Shaddai. I'm not sure.
I used to hear that growing up in church. El Shaddai. So.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. You could absolutely. You probably correct. I just based on what I read it right here, like I have no idea. But I would just have to ask and confirm. But let's see. Let me see how many times it's used and for what. And for whatever reason, they don't even tell me how many times it's used or what it's used for. That's usually what I would go straight to, like the definition of the word and then how many times it's used and what it's used for. But for some reason, this doesn't have it. But I'm sure as a matter of fact, I got it in my hand right here. But this is where, like, a lot of times, like, it's good to have a whole bunch of different resources as well. Like, you know what I mean? I got this, what's it called? Hebrew to English dictionary on Kindle. I think it costs like $4 or something like that, $4 or $5. I got it on a promo, so it might be a different price. But when I got it, I think the original price was like $15 or $14, something like that. But I got it for like $5. A couple years ago, I was urging brothers to get it while it was cheap. But you know, $15 ain't a, you know what I mean, it's not too bad to pay for, you know what I mean, a tool that we're gonna use to, you know, we understand our culture. I mean, it's not a big sacrifice. Let's see, should. And again, you use this dictionary just like you use the Hebrew dictionary just like you use English dictionary. The only difference is you just got to know the Lashawan Qadash characters in order, which is why I was urging, which is why I said what I said at the beginning. Like, because if you don't know how to, you know what I mean, if you don't know the Lashawan Qadash characters from A to Tha, then it's going to take you a real long time to use this resource, using the dictionary. And I know, you know, brothers, I know if I know, you know what I mean, my people, if anything is a little bit too difficult or too tedious, we kind of, you know what I mean, we find an easier way to do it, or we kind of go around it. So that could be something that could just not knowing the Lashawan Qadash characters from A to Tha, it could be something that discourages brothers from, you know what I mean, learning or using the resources, or, you know what I mean, or you know what I mean, just learning or growing. All right, so Salaki, let me see if I can find this. Yeah. And concert, that's it mean exactly what you just said. Shadiya. Salakia, thinking. They say whenever you see a Yah, they translate it I in Yiddish. So like when you see a word that ends with a Yah, they'll pronounce it as an I. So I'm sure, you know what I mean.
That's why he did that.
Concert. That's
not how you say it, bro.
Right. Yeah, that's not at all how you say it. That's why. Let me see. Like my Lord, when they say it's Adon Yah, but they say Adonai.
Damn.
You know what I mean, that's why these fake Israelites.
There's a church all behind that Yiddish stuff.
Yeah, concert. And that's how they translated it in the English as well. But I'm trying to figure out the correlation. The Shad means breast or bosom, and then Yah is a possessive, meaning my. All right, so I'm trying to figure out the correlation between my bosom or my bosom and Almighty. But that's something that I would just have to ask. Salaki. All right, Ha, Tha, Halak. And that Tha, you got to be careful. All right, that Tha, it's a possessive, but it could be used in a funny way, for lack of better explanation. Like you might see it directly behind a preposition to say thou or thee. Like Tha, that's a perfect example. That's just a preposition, and or just two prepositions. So a meaning I, and Tha meaning you. So Tha, all right, with a servile tense behind it. But that Tha, you might see it right behind a preposition. You might see it at the beginning of a word as a preposition. You might see it at the end of a word. All right. But you just got to, again, context. You just got to know what you're reading so that you can pronounce it correctly. All right. Ha, Tha, Halak. Halak means walk. Right? Halak just means walk. And then La Panya before me, or to me, direct translation. La Panya. Salakia. Wahaya and B Tha Mayum. Huh. Tamayum is a root word that means blameless. Right?
Perfect.
Concert.
Walk blameless before me, walk perfect before me.
Concert. And it's like again, like just like just being in the truth, you know what I mean? You can pick up a lot of root words just by be talking to brothers. Because a lot of these words or the words, brothers' names just come from words. So the words that's used for brothers' names, you'll see them in the scriptures. So you might be reading it, and then you'll see a brother's name, and you're like, oh, I know this brother.
Facts.
That's what his name means.
Facts.
And then it'll just click to you, and then that'll make it easier for you to remember words. It'll
Facts.
make it easier for you to build your vocabulary. But that just comes from like if you love the Lord and you love, you love your brothers, you love this work, it's gonna be it makes it real easy to learn this language. But all right, we're gonna go ahead and stop right there. If there's anything that I didn't address tonight, just check your notifications and I'll, if I see them in the comments, if I see your questions or comments, then I'll address them, and then you should get a notification with the answer. But with that, we're gonna end right there. We're gonna pick up Sabbath service. It will behoove brothers to just kind of read through it. Just read through the especially if you know that you're gonna be reading, right? If you're a priest or you're a brother, you're gonna get called up. You show up to Sabbath service. It will behoove brothers to come to Sabbath service as well. But just just be, if you come to Sabbath service, you're available to come to Sabbath service. It will behoove you to come to Sabbath service and prepare. So that we can get through this Hebrew, because we do got a lot to read through. We kind of touched on a little bit of it, gave the breakdowns, but Saturday, you already know how it is. We just gonna be reading it. But with that, let's see. With that, say I majim, which means to stand. We give a courtesy salute to the brothers. The Israel Majim Shabbat. I majim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakathon, Yajim Batah. Sorry, we're gonna turn face to sisters, give a courtesy salute to the sisters. The Israel Majim Shabbat. I majim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shem Yahweh Yajim Batah. Dismiss.